Welcome, Patriots, back to the Dorian show. How are you guys doing? There's a lot going on in the world right now. We got the U.S. Iran nuclear deal coming up tomorrow, Tuesday, and they're going to decide what's going to happen over a soccer game, believe it or not. Everything in the world has stood still. You know, no one cares about Russia, Ukraine no more, about China and lockdowns and war in the Middle East, because everything's going to be settled over the World Cup. And I gotta say, I'm suckered into it. Like I just got this scarf. Check this out, man. I've never been more proud of being an American than right now during the U.S. World Cup. I gotta say, I will immediately disown this country if they lose tomorrow to Iran, because there's nothing more important than the World Cup, guys. And I know this because I saw what happened to the Mexico team yesterday. Shout out to all my Mexican friends out there. You know, tough loss. They lost to Argentina yesterday, also known as the South American Nazis. If you guys didn't know, the Nazis, there's a high number of Nazis that fled Germany and ended up in Argentina, which is crazy to say enough. But yeah, I'm a huge soccer fan every 4 years. I think the U.S. could win it all because, because of freedom and liberty, guys. So there's that. I'm not going to take this off unless the U.S. loses. And if they lose, I will for sure be returning this scarf. Speaking of American pride, how about you guys been hearing the FTX bonanza in the news right now? Involving world American hero Sam Bankman-Fried, also known as SBF. Dude, this guy just basically stole billions and billions of dollars from investors everywhere. And I mean, this was kind of thrown under a rug, but he's also like the second biggest donor to the Democratic Party. I think he donated over like 40 million to Biden himself, maybe hundreds of millions. I mean, a lot of people hate this guy, but this guy's living the American dream. I mean, what is more American than like ripping off the people and trying to get favor through politics? This is what politicians have been doing since the beginning of time. And I don't know if this shows how corrupt the American system is, or that all rich people are connected somehow. This guy, SBF, like both parents are like really tied into like academia. They're like huge professors and whatnot. I think his mom runs one of the biggest foundations that donates to the Democrats, and his dad was like Gary Gensler's boss at one time at the college, which is insane. I'm not saying he and like the Democrats are like colluding and stuff like that. I'm just saying that people are well connected. I'm sure the Republicans have the same thing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like the what's his name? Trump's son-in-law is like runs a hedge fund that's worth billions of dollars, and the only funder they have is from Saudi Arabia. So I don't know. All these fools are connected. It's all bad, man. It's all bad, but whatever. It's American dream. I would love to have $1 billion I could donate to the Democrats or the Republicans, man. I just want to be in that group, guys. Like, please invite me to be part of that. I would donate you billions of dollars if you in return give me billions of dollars. Well, one crazy thing I've been noticing on Twitter is like how much the mainstream media is kind of like throwing the whole fraud thing under the bus, because this guy's basically committed fraud. He says that his company FTX is just like a platform for you to trade, kind of like a stock trader, stock exchange, kind of like Coinbase for those who trade in crypto. But he says he doesn't use investors' funds to trade, and he basically lied. He basically transferred all investors' funds to his sister company, Alameda Research, and he basically just went ham gambling away with people's money. So this is 100% fraud, allegedly. Please don't sue me because I got no money. But it's pretty much fraud. I think it's safe to say it is fraud. But like, for example, the New York Times was like, Sam Bankman-Fried wanted to donate money to solve world problems. Now he's unable to do that because he's filing for bankruptcy. It's not just bankruptcy. This guy is a huge fraud. And you wonder why I'm like, who? This is why people don't trust the media anymore, the mainstream media anymore. And I don't know why they publish it. Like, who are they trying to? Who are these articles for? Like, it's not even the truth. You know what I mean? I get it if it's like, yeah, if it's the truth, you know what I mean? If it's like in the middle, if you're just putting out just the details, the facts of the case, then it should be fine. But like, that title is insane. Who is that for? Like, who's gonna read that? Oh yeah, this Sam Bankman-Fried guy's a good guy. Nobody. I don't think so, dude. I don't know. This is why people don't trust the mainstream media, especially if there's Twitter and like the internet around. Like, everybody could get news like this, and you could get fact checked like this. And I don't even know why they bother lying. You know what I mean? Like, all the news is like read on the internet. And who reads news? Like, who reads like physical copies of New York Times anymore? The New York Times. I don't know. I guess old people, but I don't know. What else I got here? Also on the news, it's crazy. It's things people are saying we're in a recession, but apparently Taylor Swift concert tickets are going for like $40,000. You know what I mean? And people are getting upset. It's crazy how like how the government will jump into action the moment white women get mad in the USA. Apparently, all these Taylor Swift fans are trying to buy these pre-sales of her concert through Ticketmaster, who everybody hates, by the way. We know they're the devil. They're also partnered with Live Nation, who, like, I guess, like, manages a bunch of what do you call it? Celebrities, artists, and whatnot. And yeah, it's a collusion. I get it. And apparently people were trying to get these tickets, but Ticketmaster really fucked up the whole pre-sale situation and just allowed bots to buy up all the tickets. And in return, these guys are reselling it on Ticketmaster for like thousands and thousands of dollars. And I'm not just talking about like $1,000 or $2,000. These are like $40,000 to sit in the nosebleeds to watch Taylor Swift on a big screen. And number one, I'm like, who's buying all these tickets for like $40,000? That doesn't make any sense, man. I won't even go to like a Lakers game because tickets are like $200 in nosebleeds. Like, who would pay thousands of dollars to watch Taylor Swift one time? It's insane. And like the moment. Anyway, I just want to say the Ticketmaster has been doing this for years. Ticketmaster have been selling tickets for insane prices, and then they tax people. They tax like people who buy tickets for like 25%. So guess what? You buy your tickets from them for 25%, then you resell it, and then they get another 25% when you resell it through their made up fees. And this has been going on for years, and the government hasn't been able to do anything about it until they pissed off the Taylor Swift fans. And now we got AOC texting on Twitter, about it. And now they're investigating into Ticketmaster and if they are having a monopoly on the ticket sales, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And of course they do. But speaking of which, like they clearly just taking crazy money off the consumers, and people are just buying because they don't have any other choice. Because I bought stuff from Ticketmaster, and I'm like, this is just a fee I have to pay. But you would think, like, when they're robbing the consumers of so many dollars, that they would be just swimming in cash, but not really. When you look at their financials for their parent company, Live Nation, their operating margin is like 6%. Dude, like, if you are just draining people of their hard-earned money. You should be making a lot more money than that. Like I would almost say Ticketmaster and Live Nation is like uninvestable. You know what I mean? Like they are barely making a profit. Sure, their revenues are huge, but like profit-wise, they're not doing that well considering how much people hate them. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I don't know what we're gonna do with Ticketmaster. I hope. I don't know. I'm torn. I don't know if the government should do something about it. I love the free market because America, baby. Just let them destroy themselves. But I guess there are people that would buy tickets for $40,000 to see Taylor Swift. I don't know. I guess people still have money. I thought we were in a recession. Are we in a recession? How are people paying for $40,000 to go see Taylor Swift when we are in a recession? You know what I mean? I keep hearing about this recession for like the whole year right now. They're like, oh, interest rates are going up, inflation is going up, and things are getting more expensive. Believe me, like gas is crazy expensive. Food is expensive. You know what I mean? McDonald's is expensive, but then I'm like, people still have money. People still have money to go get Taylor Swift, Taylor Swift stuff, the tickets to see Taylor Swift. People are still spending money on shit, on Black Friday. People are buying Air Jordan. Jordans are going up in price, man. I thought this was the recession, man. People are still buying Jordans like crazy. You know what I mean? Like people keep telling me in the news that housing prices are going down. I'm like, they haven't. I haven't seen any housing prices coming down. They're like, oh, housing prices are down 20-30%. I'm like, really? I haven't seen it. Homes in California are still like $800,000 for a shack in LA. And anything that I want is like over $1 million. I can't spend that much, okay? I'm looking for housing prices to crash to 50%, down to $500,000. And then maybe I could finally afford to buy a house. But there is no recession. I think the recession is a myth, to be honest. Until I see otherwise, everything's still expensive. Airbnbs are stupid expensive. Okay? It doesn't seem like any prices are falling. So yeah, show me the recession, okay, guys? Show me the recessions. One of the good news, I guess, there's good news or it's bad news, depending on which side you stand in a recession. I welcome a recession because even our weights have not recessed, dude. People are so fat. I was watching this one clip on YouTube for my 600-pound life. Like some lady was eating like 4 Papa John's large pizza and like 50 chicken wings just for dinner, and she had to like roll up in a freaking wheelchair, and like had the delivery guy like just put it on her lap, and she like wheels herself back to go eat this meal. Clearly she's not in a recession. How is she affording all this stuff with no job, by the way? And she's just not getting any skinnier. I mean, in a recession, you would think people would just cut back on eating, but not America, baby. Not America. We do really need a recession. But on the news front, I just read something. They said that a lot of people are starting to take loans out of their housing, so they're taking like a home equity line of credit, basically using their home as a credit card, which could be bad in the coming year or two. You know what I mean? Like, they're taking out, according to this article, $66 billion worth of home equity, which is an insane amount of borrowing. And I mean, a home equity line, I think, is pretty, it's pretty high. It's like 6% right now. So I don't know. Maybe a recession is coming once these fools aren't able to pay off their loans, because people were talking that the housing inventory is still low, and a bunch of people are already locked in their house. Their mortgage rate's at like 2%, 3%. No one's selling to get a higher mortgage rate, and there's still not enough homes for them to come down. Like, people are still looking to buy homes, and people that could afford them will still pay the higher price. But this 66 $1 billion in home equity could be the catalyst to kind of send everything crashing. A lot of tech companies are already laying people off. Twitter, Facebook. What are the other ones? Google, Coinbase. A bunch of places are laying off people, like thousands and thousands of people in tech in the Bay Area, at least. And so far, what people are saying, like there are still plenty of tech jobs out there. Sure, they might not be able to get like a $300 salary like they were getting at Google, which is insane. I need to get a job at Google. But that they might not be getting that huge pay anymore. But they're still getting there's still jobs available in the six figures department. I hear a lot of people in marketing and sales are getting fired in the tech companies, so it's probably gonna be a little bit harder for them to get a new job. The truth is, like there's still a lot of jobs that are not cut yet. And like a lot of the white collar sectors, like you haven't heard anything about the banks cutting jobs. None of the restaurants, none of the big companies. Walmart's not cutting jobs. Target's not cutting jobs. Costco's not cutting jobs. Like once those companies are going to cut jobs, and that's when we're going to hit a recession. We're not even close to a recession, you guys. Like sure, stocks are falling, but stocks don't have to me personally, like stocks just don't reflect what's going on in real society, because most people I know, me, my friends, my parents, whatever, like we buy stocks and we basically never take that money out again. So we could that money could become like, it could grow, it could shrink, but we're not taking that money out because we're long term. Most people are long term investors, I think. Even though you might hear people that are like trading every day, but I think most people in the middle class are just long term investors. It doesn't really bother me. Sure, it bothers me, it makes me sad if my stocks go to zero, but like that, it doesn't really affect me because I have a job and I have a steady income. And my life hasn't really changed much because I'm still able to buy stuff. Sure, it's more expensive, but so what? But like once people start losing their jobs in the white collar sector and the blue collar sector, that's when shit's gonna hit the fan, and that's when housing prices, I believe, are gonna really drop. And I don't think that's gonna happen until at least the middle of 2023, right? It's already the end of the year. Maybe some big companies are gonna start laying off people because they have earnings coming up in December. Not in December. I mean, they report earnings in March actually, but I think a lot of companies are gonna start laying off people so they can like stack their balance sheet in like February and March, so they can say, "Oh, we're cost saving." Excuse me, I'm burping, by cutting jobs. Fortunately, that's what they care about, the bottom line. So I'm thinking probably December they're gonna start cutting jobs, and then into like the first quarter of 2023. That's when we're gonna see like massive cuts, especially on like more white collar jobs, people in sales, marketing, banking, whatever else they do. I don't know, social science. I don't know. And then they're gonna cut jobs. The Fed's gonna keep increasing interest rates, so people are not gonna stop. People are gonna stop spending. Companies aren't gonna be able to borrow. That's when we're gonna see hits. And then after that, couple months after that, probably midway into 2023, people are gonna start losing their jobs because, like I said, they have this huge credit debt on their homes, on their home equity. And then if you don't repay that, you could lose your home. And I think even the people that secure low interest on their loans, like some of them aren't going to be able to pay for their home equity loans right now, because the reason they're taking it out right now is to spend, to pay bills. And maybe some of them are remodeling their homes, but I'm guessing $66 billion in remodel. I don't think so. A lot of people are probably out there using it as a credit card, and they're going to have problems paying it back. And guess what? When the banks come knocking on the door, when the homes are like underwater, a lot of people are going to lose their homes. And then that leads to like all these other people that are just gambling their money into like investment properties. I'm predicting, I'm not financial advice, or all of it's financial advice. I don't care. Who cares? once these people that actually invest in homes to like lend out, especially these Airbnb homes, they're gonna get eaten up. Like they're not gonna be able to pay for their mortgage on their second, third, fourth home that they just rent on Airbnbs. They're gonna be forced to drop the rates of Airbnbs, and we already know Airbnbs are stupid high because of all the cleaning fees on top of like the $200 cleaning fee, on top of the $200 a night at like some dirty home in New Mexico, and they expect you to like clean the toilet and shit. Like this, like that bubble is gonna end. Airbnb, I think Airbnb is gonna be fine because they don't actually own any of the properties, but Airbnb, like homeowners are going to take a massive hit. Prices are going to go down. People that like to travel will be good because they're like, oh, I get to go stay at a dirty apartment in Hollywood for $100 again. Those people will be fine, but the homeowners, they're going to take a major hit. Businesses that are built around Airbnb, like people that just goes out and cleans for people, like that's going to take a hit for sure. These fools are going to lose their money. I think these people are talking about like BlackRock and Blackstone, like buying up all these rental properties. They're probably going to take a huge hit too. They're going to be forced to sell their place at a loss. I don't know if they're going to keep these properties because if they're underwater in property and rent prices go down during recession, it might or might not. If it goes down, like I don't know if they're going to keep those on their balance sheet, right? Because that's like a 30-year, 30-year like asset or liability on their balance sheet. And they're just gonna hold like a losing asset for 30 years. I don't think so. I think BlackRock and Blackstone are just gonna sell them for cheap and cut their losses. And that's why. And people were afraid of that. They're all these institutional buyers are just buying all the homes and driving the prices up, and they are. But like once a bubble creates, like that's when it equals out. And I hope I'm right about this, but because if BlackRock and Blackstone are smart, they're just going to keep that. You could just write off the losses, but they should just keep the homes and just buy more homes when they drop, so they could just have a monopoly on the world, But I don't know. I think people aren't very smart and they're very short-term minded. So I think all these institutional buyers are just going to sell. We see like Redfin and Zillow selling of their homes out at a loss because they're trying to do all the iBuyer stuff. So I don't know. Maybe it'll hit Blackstone and BlackRock. I don't know. I hope they sell. I mean, it's kind of crazy if they don't, which is insane that people have to like, compete with these huge multi-billion-dollar companies. I think that more than they have like $1 trillion under management, which is insane. So I hope it's not true. I mean, I hope they sell. But if they don't, then we're screwed. And we're going to rent from these guys forever. Or we could just buy BlackRock and Blackstone stocks, I guess. If we buy their stock, then technically they work for us. I don't know. Their stock's way too high right now. I wouldn't buy it. But more on that later. What else we have here? BTS, after being disbanded, they're going to join the military in South Korea, which is an insane thing to think about, that BTS is joining the military. Can you imagine being in a war with the South Koreans? I don't know who's in war with them, maybe North Korea. Just imagine like seeing BTS just like, oh, Kojido, or whatever they sing, and they just like shoot you right in the head. Like the last thing you see before you die a gruesome death is seeing a pretty Korean guy with gold blonde hair just like, oh, and shoot you in the face. That's insane. But I don't know. What do you guys think about mandatory military service? Do you think that should be okay in the U.S.? I don't know. I'm guessing no. Like half of it, I was just like, oh, you guys shouldn't. We shouldn't make people do this because of freedom and liberty, and forced military service is kind of like slavery. But I don't know. Like I think forced military slavery could bring the country, a little bit closer together. Like we're so split, the Democrats and Republicans. But at the same time, I'm like, that's just more propaganda, the military propaganda to bring the people together, but they could just be lying to us and brainwashing us in the military, kind of like what they do in the public education system. But I don't know. Maybe there's a middle ground to it. I think this is what they should do. Okay, I think the government should stop giving out freaking student loans. Okay, there, I said it. Student loans are the reason why it costs so much to go to college these days, because there's supply and demand. The colleges know you have a bunch of money. There's basically an unlimited supply of money because anybody like 17, 18 years old could just take on hundreds of thousands of loans just to go to college to get a what do you call, liberal arts degree, which is something that I have. And let me tell you, it's a shit waste of money. I've got 3 degrees, guys. And I've spent my parents' money like over 6 figures for sure, like $150,000 minimum for 3 degrees. And let me tell you, it's really not worth it. I should just have gone and went to work, which is some of these kids did in Alabama, which I'm going to get into next. But yeah, I think here the military should just pay for certain colleges. Okay, colleges with degrees. I mean, certain degrees that are actually beneficial, right? If you want to become a doctor or engineer or a computer science major, you know what I mean? Or you want to make drugs so you could charge people way more money. Anything that's like, it's an important skill. Yeah. Give out loans to these people that join the military for 2 years. This is a good trade-off. You come to the military for 2 years, get in shape, learn how to love the country, and they'll pay for 2 years of your college for an actual useful degree. And then all this other like stupid degrees, like the ones I got, like, I don't know, like art history or like feminist history or feminist studies or whatever, or gender studies, all this like bullshit. Just fine. If people want to study them, let them study them, but like don't give out loans to them. Like, what kind of jobs do you think you could get? What technical skills do you actually learn from those degrees? I didn't learn it. I still had to be trained. You know what I mean? I had to, like, for my job, I had to like read books and develop like skills and knowledge, and I can just do it on my own. I've learned more on my own reading on most topics than my 3 degrees than I've actually learned in school. Okay, that's the truth. You know what I mean? Go to the library. The books are free. You can get a free education from YouTube and the library. And books are cheap. You get a Kindle or whatever. But yeah, just I think that's what was I talking about? Oh yeah, the military and BTS. How do we get there? And then, speaking of which, these talking about kids not going to school and getting a job. Apparently, Hyundai is employing like child laborers, and I'm not talking about in like Korea or like in a third world country or Mexico or China. I'm talking about in America. There were 3 kids, their siblings in Alabama, that was like caught working in a Hyundai factory. Like, and the only reason they knew this kid was like working in a Hyundai was because this girl just went missing. She was like 14 years old. She went missing. So then like the cops were looking for her. People were looking for her. And it turns out this kid was missing because she was working overtime at a freaking Hyundai factory with her 2 brothers. One of them was like 12 years old and the other one was 15. Insane. Okay. First of all, I just want to say maybe they know what they're doing. Maybe these kids are on the right track. Maybe they're like, school's not for me. I just want to just go kill it. I just want to kill it. I just want to make money. I just want to hustle. Maybe they're hustling because they saw a Gary Vee video and they're like, oh man, this Gary Vee guy is really motivating me to go like put bumpers on a 2023 Hyundai Sonata. Okay, I'm just hustling. I'm trying to make a living for myself. So yeah, just let these kids work, man. Just give them money. Give them equal pay for equal work. All right, we don't want to give them baby glass ceiling for children. I think they should be just let them work. But at the same time, like Hyundais are just pieces of shits of cars. They just do like shitty cars. They make shitty cars that I fucking hate. And I only say this because I own one. I do own a Santa Fe Sport. And let me tell you, they try to sucker you into, hey, this car is cheap. And they are. And he said, oh, we have a 100,000-mile warranty for our engines and our transmission and engine, our drivetrain. And they do. And for like maybe like 10 years of some of the cars between like 2010 to like 2017, actually you have a lifetime warranty on your engine. But guess what? Your fucking warranty is worthless. I've been having issues with this Hyundai for a long time. You know, I mean, I already got one. It took me like 2 years to get my engine replaced one time because they just took forever to find out what was wrong with it. And now I'm having the same issues, the oil consumption. I'm trying to get this fixed, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we could diagnose it for you, but it might. There's a 50% chance that you have to pay $400 to get it diagnosed." And I'm like, "Why do I have to do this when you have a warranty? Is it because you guys are having kids make your cars? Is that what's going on? Is that why these cars are so shitty made? You have kids make them, and then you're trying to make me pay for their mistake? Get out of here, dude. That's insane, dude. But yeah, just don't buy Kias or Hyundais owned by the same person. They're terrible cars. You know, I'm having the same issue. I'm trying to have this car fixed, but they're just shitty cars. I'd rather pay $1,000, $10,000 more and buy a Toyota because the Japanese know how to make a good car, all right? That's all I'm saying. Anyway, guys, this is another solo episode. It's about 33 minutes in. I think I'm going to end it here. I have a show coming up, comedy show, on December 9th, which is a Friday, in San Francisco, Emperor Norton's Booze Land in the Tenderloin, or some people call it the Tendy. Please come out to these shows, guys, if you like to support me in this podcast. The 30 people that watch this, I don't know where you guys are at. Some of you guys are in Germany, apparently. Bring back nuclear, guys. Bring back nuclear because I'm heavily invested in nuclear energy, and I want to get rich. All right? Buy nuclear, build nuclear factories because I want to get rich, okay? That's all I care about. Speaking of which, yeah. My show, December 9th, Friday, San Francisco's comedy show. Comedy is going really well. It's not going real well. I'm finally getting booked like freaking a year and a half in. You know, I shout out to the Jewish community. I got booked on the Jewish show. I got booked pretty regularly at this bar who runs comedy shows every day. You know, I got my own show. The only show I'm not getting booked at is this Asian show. So, you know, I'm just going to say they're racist to themselves. To their own people, I mean. Anyway, thank you guys for listening to me ramble. I'm trying to get more people onto this podcast. You guys seem to like those more. Go watch the old episodes with me and my comedy partner, Abe Rabinowitz. There's 2 of them. I did one with some kid that works at Punchline, a comedian, is very funny, lost his virginity. His name is Jared Senna. He lost his virginity recently through comedy. I mean, I talked to a real estate agent that's just killing it in online dating. I talked to a bar owner in San Francisco. Just a lot of good content out there for you guys. So please support, like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Instagram, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.